Right, welcome to this review and unboxing video. I've got an order come through here from the Outpost. They run two other companies. First is the Colour Forge, so you'll see the wide variety of stuff that's available from them. And also Dark Star Molten Metals, which I've got some samples of some of their paints, which can be used for regular painting and also for airbrush. A lot of variety here. This video is just to give you an idea of what's available from them. So, link in the video description below. That's for the Outpost. That's your discount 40k, and then for paints and accessories and so on, and also for your airbrush paints from Dark Star Molten Metals. Then that's all part of the Outpost. You can go onto the Outpost, click that link, and then it will show you the Colour Forge stuff that's available, and also the Dark Star Molten Metals. So I reckon I'll go through the Molten Metals first of all. I've been using a few of them already. The last time I used these was in the recent video where I convert over some GameMat.eu terrain to paint it up for the sponge effect of the chipping, which is a very fast way of covering large areas on buildings and so on, just to get that sort of chipped tarnish kind of effect. I use some of these paints from here and they work fine. I mean, the pigment is strong. Sets of these, and I'll zoom in and show you the different colours that are available because there's a nice wide range with them. Just one where the label's not covered. Water-based acrylic metallic paint for use with brush or airbrush. Shake well before use, and you get that little stopper inside there that helps you shake it up. It's primer for acrylic base coat recommended, fully intermixable, no need to varnish, and will not tarnish. So, and if you go on the actual Dark Star Molten Metals website, here, darkstarmini.co.uk. You should see a link there in the video description as well. They've got a website that explains it all to you and give you some gallery pictures and so on, to give you an idea of the effects that you can get. But as far as metals are concerned, there's a massive variety, all different types. So this one, I'll zoom in so you can get an idea of the tone going on with these ones. So this shade here, my hands, I've been using some of the sprays here for a Space Wars painting tutorial coming up soon. But aged copper, this one. Platinum, interesting, so got that colour available. A silvery gold kind of colour. Old silver. Regular bronze. Blue steel, it's that kind of colour. Antique gold, and Baroque, this one, it's that kind of colour. So plenty of variety. That's just the start here, actually, of loads. So we've got just classic gold. It does matter because you want to use this, like for example gold, there are different shades, and it's nice to, depending on what, I've got a different shade of gold for my AdMech, different shade of gold for my 1000 Suns, for example. You don't want them all matching, you do want a bit of variety and difference. That's regular copper. This is a fine gold, much lighter kind of gold. I guess the other idea is you can take different golds. You can go for your classic gold as a base colour, put washes over the top, then highlight with the different shades. So you can use fine gold as your final highlight. So you've got that option as well. This is blackened bronze. This one's braid gold. Then pale gold. Metal thinner, just to thin it down. Royal gold. Just loads of options in. Silver verde. Verde, however it's pronounced. Regular brass. Bright steel. It's a nice light colour. Tinge of gold to it. I think there's a little bit of warmth to that one. More here. There's a weird one. Victorian gold. That old kind of corroded. Not corroded as such, but sort of a tarnished kind of finish to it. Pewter. And the way metals can be worked with effects and inks and washes and so on, you get some amazing effects. A real sort of focal point for a model. This is polished copper. Renaissance gold. So he's going through sort of aging kind of, or aged kind of finishes. Regular silver. Bright that one. Tarnished steel. A couple more. Imperial gold. There's loads of varieties of gold here. And then Regency gold. I recognise that shade from one of the old workshop paints. The two that I haven't started using any of these yet here, but the two that I've been using for that project, I wanted, and it seemed to work really well, I wanted a very dark tone, metallic, and then just to flick a lighter tone across the top using the sponge, just to really give it a bit of kick. On the terrain pieces worked really well, so I took steel, which is a darker shade here, did that first with the sponge, and then highlighted with graphite, which is sort of a medium kind of metal colour. Just to give it a bit of glint. In fact, I'll show you the terrain piece to give you an idea of how this works. So I hope you can see that okay, especially on the edges. Yeah, you can catch the glint of it there. Such an easy process. Just a piece of random sponge, just bits taken out, just keep it nice and random. Just squeeze these out onto the palette, so dark colour first, bit of steel. Just rub the sponge on it, dab it out, and then just hit it on the corners, wherever you think the bashing and scraping would take place. Within seconds you've got the effect done. Darker shade first because it's quite a light colour here after spraying, so I wanted to put a darker tone first. You can maybe catch it across there. Then it goes on quite dark. You want it to then jump out a little bit to have that kind of freshly chipped kind of look on some parts. So and then take the graphite and then just dab the same areas, but you're just catching the extreme highlight, and that just gives that nice kind of glint effect. So you'll see all of that in the tutorial, but that's the paints that I've been using for that. You just squeeze out what you need. There's a larger terrain piece, and again you might be able to catch a bit of the glint from the metallic on there. It's a very, very easy process. You can see it being dabbed onto here as well, and it just gives you that metallic kind of finish to these terrain pieces. So it gives you an idea of how you can use metallics. Of course you can paint it across sort of large armoured areas and so on, start adding all your effects on top. But if you check out the website here, darkstarmini.co.uk, it'll give you an idea of the kind of effects that you can get. So then they do the Colour Forge range, which is spray cans, but also a load of other gaming accessories, which you'll see as well. So there's a lot that is available. But they do these Colour Forge model primers, spray cans. I have sprayed up one of the models here. It's a Space Wolf Thunder Cavalryman. We'll zoom in so you get an idea of the application for the spray. So you can see now the colour matches on my on my hands. So there's a Thunder Wolf Cavalryman. Hope to do a painting tutorial with him very soon. But that's one coat of that spray, and it goes on. It's not like a dead matte. There is a slight sheen to it. Very, very, very similar to the Games Workshop paints. Detail wise, can't see any kind of clogging or anything going on. Smooth enough finish. So I'm happy enough to use these on miniatures for sure. And I've already been using a load of them for my various terrain projects without any problem. The other great advantage of these sprays is the size of them and the value. They're decent value and actually bigger than your regular spray cans. So I'll run through these just to show you the variety here. So that spray that you just saw, that's Wolfkin Grey, so great for your Space Wolves, just sort of a foundational colour. And then from there you start building your colours and washes and effects on top of that, just to act as a primer, just to give you a good head start for your arming. So Wolfkin Grey. So I said the size of these, if I do a comparison here, so the standard can from most of the companies is 400 millilitres, but as you can see, you're getting bigger cans here. These are 500 milliliter cans available from Colour Forge. So Wolfkin Grey, the variety is fantastic. Now if I show you, perhaps one of the things I would say with these cans is the colour band that runs down here. It's interrupted by what's going on in the background, so it doesn't always give you a clear reflection of the actual paint. So it's best to check on the website, check on the store, and it'll give you the shade that's available. But if I hold up this model here and compare it to, I mean it's not too far off, that's the kind of colour you can expect, but just to bear that in mind, what you see across here isn't the exact colour. Would have been handy to have like a solid block perhaps here on the cap, just to show what kind of colour you're getting. But anyway, that's the colour there, Wolfkin Grey. I've been using, it's like a regular brown colour, it's trench brown. I've been doing that for the terrain. You'll see that again, that terrain project with revamping the terrain from GameMet.eu. I use that colour and list it there and show you how it's used. Sanguine red, it's a nice red. You can use that for your blood angels. Standard grey, I've been using a lot of this for the terrain. It's just a standard kind of grey colour. That's the kind of colour I'd also use on this model for Space Wolves. There's two kind of options. You can go for the themed colour, Wolfkin Grey, which is alright to start you off with your armour. Or if you want something a bit more generic, then you can go for standard grey as a foundation for all the different colours going on. They also do solid matte black, so these larger cans fantastic. You can get the standard colours for your terrain projects and so on. Standard matte white. They do a matte varnish. So other colours, desert sand, again exceptionally useful for terrain projects. We've got gauntlet gold, so just standard gold metallic spray. Vampire violet here, so they've given you a purple one as an option. Steel forged silver. A big fan of spray cans as primers, just to give you a real sort of head start, and you'll see in the different paint tutorials on the channel, usually start with some kind of themed primer just to do a lot of the work for you, just to give you that good foundation. So it is important you get the right options and make the right choice for what primer you use. You've got Tempest Blue. Now there is one that's themed, I think, for ultramarines. It could be this one here, Republic Blue. I imagine that's going to be more of your ultramarine kind of colour. Sunset Yellow, which would be comparable to Avalon Sunset perhaps. Drake Scale Green, that's kind of Drakari kind of colour. Then they do an off-white here, so it's white bone, so not your solid white but an off colour from that. Very, very useful indeed to have that colour available. Imperial Purple. Ossified Earth, a very interesting colour to have as a spray, especially I think for terrain projects. Renegade Green. The other thing you could do, you've got a nice variety of sprays, you can go for like a base, a shade and a highlight colour and do all of that work. So you can go, so spray underneath with your dark shade, then you can spray, add another layer of your medium kind of colour and then a final flick with a highlight. So if you've got the sprays, it means you can just do the whole thing. With sprays not need paint, which is great for terrain projects. Hydrax Brown, another interesting colour. Bruised Purple, it's like the bruise on flesh, I guess. Governor Green, perhaps a good colour for Astra Militarum vehicles. Ghoul Grey, it's like an offy, undeady kind of grey colour. Again, very, very cool. That's available as a spray. And then finally, MDF sealer. So if you're working on the MDF, there is a spray there just to seal that up before you start spraying with paint. So wide variety available. So sprays seem solid enough. Good size, good value. Go with them. So just check out the link below. So they've also got us some samples here of the other items that are available. So again, it's colour forged here, but you can just use that link for the outpost. They stock the stuff on there. So yeah, magnets here, this is 2mm by 1mm. These are N52. So N52 grade is like a nice strong grade, which is useful enough. 6x2 those ones. Then your regular square bases like the old Warhammer bases. More magnets here. 5mm by 0.5, so nice thin ones. So I pulled these bits out here. But it's bases of magnets, plastic square bases, 40mm. Then they do the round ones for the 40k players out there, so you've got the 25mm round, a pack of 10. I wonder if they've got, yeah, this is the 32mm, so I think that's your Primaris Marines type base. And they look like a complete match here with the Games Workshop ones. So a pack of 10 of those. More square bases here. These are 25mm square. Pack of 10. It's magnets, all sort of sticking together. So these are 4x2s. 4x0.5s. I run some of these. They're useful for. I use them like on Eldar Wave Serpents, just swapping the weapons out. Nice thin ones. These are 10mm by 1mm, larger ones, handy for like turret weapons. These are self-adhesive magnetic foil stickers for 50mm bases. That's if you magnetise it for storage. 3x1s. 3x0.5s, so a fine little magnet there. Recognise these ones, these are good for sort of shoulder options, a deeper kind of magnet. 3x2s. These are very fine, these are 2mm by 0.5, so very, very fine little magnets. You'd use those on things like wrists, on Space Marines, dropping out chainsaws and so on. You could use it for that. 40mm round bases, that's like your Terminator, Space Marine Terminator sort of size. These are precision glue tips. 2 more packs of magnets here. 4x1s and 5x1s. The varieties there for what you need, and these are 3x1.5s. Then they also supply basting glue, which is your PVA glue. That's what I'm using for applying your sand and basing materials and so on onto your basing work. So it's a handy size with a nib-like sewing cap just to keep it all good. And I also do super glues as well. This one's the thicker one, the slower moving glue here, and then they do a thinner version as well, so thick and thin for super glues. Also, right, and the final stuff to show you is these round tubs. You can see them just off the camera here. So it's pretty much your basing materials here. There's some strange ones, also some of the ones you'd be familiar with. So static grass, they've called this one step grass. So you can see the tone of it, it's pretty much matching on camera here with what I've got in my hand, so it's the kind of colour. I have a longer 8mm I think on that one for these. So, you know, a good tub of flock should last, this is you're doing terrain, it should last you ages. This one here, static grass straw, so that kind of colour. The variety's nice, you can mix and match the varieties up for your basing. So the new basing I'm doing for my AdMech at the moment, I'm doing a combination of 2 flocks, just try and get more of a natural look plus some tufts. This is Eden Green, a fresher, more vibrant kind of colour, in contrast to this one, Aqua Brown. It's that kind of very rusty kind of effect to that one. There's other base materials here, we'll show you the flocks first. This one here, moss mix. So it's looking green, but in that is a variety of colours going on, so more of a mixed kind of colour to create that green. Summer grass, deeper fertilised kind of colour. And this wacky colour, this one here, very light green. So strong enough, but again you can mix them up to help break down the different shades. Yeah, I can see a few more static grasses here. Just do these first. So this is evergreen, deeper kind of colour, like deep parts of the woods, for example. It'd be a nice colour, matching nicely with perhaps with mixing the shades up. This one here is again mixed colours. There's browns and greens going on here to give you the effect for meadow grass. Nice, these would be handy for terrain projects. Then also the standard colour. This one is, yeah, this one's fine. All of those look like they're 8mm. This one looks fine, like 4mm perhaps for this one. And this is frozen tundra. So if you're going to do snow, you can introduce a little bit of, you know, if you see a snowscape, often you'll see the snow and a little bit of grass sticking through. Well, that's that kind of colour for that, just to give a little bit of not just solid white, but a little bit of something else going on for snow colour schemes. So that's just static frozen tundra grass. I think that's all the grass varieties. As you can see, there's plenty. You can always mix them up. Then they do basing materials. There's a wide variety here. So this one, it's purple, but it may well suit Slanesh players out there, perhaps, or sort of alien worlds. This is basing sand. That's actually coloured sand. So it's Violetta purple. This one may well suit your project just right. This one here is Martian red, basing sand. It's Atlantico Blue. Yeah, I'm just noticing, I've just clicked it. These wide tubs are going to be very, very useful for actually using them to do the basing. You've got a nice wide area for putting the model in and flicking the flock or the basing material across. So I understand the logic now by using these larger, wider tubs. Jupiter yellow, this one. This one here. So snow. Trying to describe the grade of it to you here. These are all quite coarse. So you could always, for example, use a finer basing material and then sprinkle some of this on just to add a coarser effect to it. This one here is obsidian black. This one's actually in green, and that is moss green. Then fine grit basing sand. This looks like just normal sifted sand now, so this is a finer grade of stuff. Then we've got Aqua Blue, a coarser kind of sand. Oh, I missed one of the flocks. Yeah, there is a red one that we've seen. This is a lighter, brighter colour. This is Martian Veld, this one here. More of a regular red. Again, you can mix the colours in with others. This one's a much finer basing snow fine. Then, alright, they do basing snow super fine, so very powdery here if that's what you're looking for, just have those different grades going on. So that's that one. Then there's other basing materials, so you've got here basing rocks small, basing rocks medium. They also do cork, so battlefield rocks basing cork small, and then they also do basing cork large. And then I'm just looking at the pieces here. There's plenty of variety in there, so you can pick out, tweezers, pick out the ones that you want, place them nicely on your base. But there's plenty of random, nice variety going on with that pack. So interesting. Cork looks fantastic. You can do some great effects with it. And then just to finish the unboxing video off here, they also supply Cork Sheets. So that's the 5mm, it's A4 size, paper size, but 5mm thickness on that one, 1/2 centimetre. And then they also do a finer stuff here, which is 2mm. So nice sheets of that. And then I think this is your self-adhesive rubber steel sheet. It's A4 size, and this one, which looks to be a thicker one. Yeah, self-adhesive magnetic steel sheet again, but a thicker grade. Two different grades. Two different grades. No. It's not. Now there is a slight difference here. Self-adhesive rubber steel sheet, and this one's self-adhesive magnetic sheet. So that's the two options that are available depending on what you need with those. So that's the review. The items that are available from the Colour Forge, and then also the Dark Star Molten Metals. All of that is over on the Outpost. You can head over there for discount 40k. It also means whilst you're there, you're able to get paints, accessories, basing materials, spray cans, all those things all together. So you're able to get a hold of that stuff when you're getting a hold of your regular Warhammer 40k and Age of Sigmar miniatures from the Outpost. So that's the review. Links in the video description below. Keep a lookout for more reviews on the channel. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.